Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to talk about type 3 on the Enneagram, the achiever or the performer. And I've got my notes in front of me, so let's get started. The achiever, the performer, is an adaptable, driven person who wants to accomplish big goals, big dreams. They've got a lot planned for their life. They are going to set goals and then be driven to accomplish those goals. If you're a 3, you may not know you're a 3. 3s are very image conscious and concerned with the image that they present to the world around them. And so often 3s will misidentify themselves. In my experience, 3s will often misidentify themselves as 1s or as 2s primarily. They may misidentify as other types, but part of that goal to protect your image is you may feel like, well, I really do want to be a good person, so I must be a 1, or I really do intend to be there to provide care to people, so I must be a 2. When in actuality, you may later discover that you are in fact a 3. So 3s are very image conscious. They're very oriented to how they're coming across and what people think of them, and that can be a hard thing for you to realize because you know that's not something that you really want to accept, is that you really are concerned with how people perceive you. 3s are very likable people. They're very charming people. Often they're very charming people. I'm sure there's probably some that aren't, but the whole deal with 3s is they want to come across as likable and charming people. They want to identify themselves with the group and be an outstanding ideal for that group. And so they can continually adapt their identity in order to fit in, kind of like a chameleon, in order to fit in with whatever group they're with. In fact, one of the things that's noted about 3s is, like, at their funeral, people from different walks and different groups that they've been associated in will all describe that person differently. And so people will say, are we sure we know the same person? Because when that achiever was, with their lodge buddies, they acted one way, and when they were at work, they acted another, and when they were with their family, they acted another, and when they were with their church, they acted another way. And so they really fit into whatever group that they were in so well that people from other groups may be surprised by what they learn in that person's life. Things that they were interested in and ways that they came across in those other groups. So let's talk about the 3 a little bit. They have they can demonstrate a high sense of self-esteem. They look very confident. They look very put together. They look like they know who they are and they know where they're going. They're often very energetic. They are one of the assertive types. 8s, 7s, and 3s are the 3 assertive types on the Enneagram. So they do walk in, seem confident, know what they want, willing to take over a room, take the microphone, stand on the stage, speak. They are ambitious. They want to improve themselves. So they're very concerned with, self-help and those kinds of topics, which probably most of those books are written by 3s on how to be a good 3. Set goals, aim high, dream big, work, treat people the way you want to be treated. And so, these books that are self-help books are probably, written mostly by people who that comes naturally to them. And they're really kind of like playbooks on how to be successful as a 3. America, somebody has said that America is kind of a 3 culture, in that, we're driven to success. We're driven, by appearance. We're driven by those external things. And so a lot of this self-help material, I think, is really just 3 material. So they tend to be very competitive and focus on achieving their goals and have a positive can-do attitude. They adapt themselves easily to whatever group they're in, and know how to present themselves well, which is why they're liked. And not only are they so successful and they accomplish so much, which draws you to them, but they tend to be very charming people as well. Type 1s want to do what is right. And so those are the employees that, maybe show up early and stay late, and They don't think maybe about advancing their career. They're just doing their job, and they're just doing what needs to be done. 3s are going to take that same job, but they're maybe always got their eye on, how do I move ahead in this company? How do I advance my career? How do I move from this position to assistant manager to regional manager? They've got a track that they're trying to get to the top of their organization, or at least get to the top of their abilities. 3s can be profoundly moving people and inspirational because they are driven towards success and being successful and looking successful. Especially if they have a caring attitude about them. They want to mentor you. They're looking for mentors in their life, examples, role models, and they seek to be mentors for the rest of us. They want to provide an ideal example for us by which we can follow. So they're often successful, well-liked, inspirational to the rest of us. But like any other type on the Enneagram, there can be a dark side to being a 3. There can be a drivenness that comes at a cost, at a personal cost. If not careful, a 3 can become a human doing instead of a human being. In other words, it's always about performing. It's always about excelling. It's always about doing your best. It's always about looking good and finishing well and keeping up appearances. And so a 3 can easily kind of lose themselves in all of that. And that concern with polishing up that image and that external image, they can kind of lose touch with who they really are, what they really care about, what they want to see accomplished in life. In other words, they're so driven to get to the top of the ladder of success that they never really maybe stop and think, do I even care about this wall that I'm climbing up? What do I have to do to become the assistant manager? What do I have to do to become the manager? And then one day they get to the top of that ladder and they look down on all their success and all their accomplishment and all their achievements, and they're asked this question, do I even care about this company? Do I even care about this product we're selling? Do I even care about? And no, they may not care at all about it. They were so caught up in the drivenness and in the becoming a success that maybe they never stopped to question, am I working for the right organization? Is this in touch with my values? And what do I really value? And what do I really care about? And what's really important to me? So driven to accomplish something that maybe they never took the time to stop and realize, is this what I'm even passionate about? I'm passionate, yes. Excited, motivated, career-oriented, driven, but am I driven for the right things? So you might, that old phrase, before you focus on doing things right, make sure you're doing the right things. It's not just about managing yourself and managing your career and managing your future, but are you even in the right game? And this is where 3s can get lost, is they've never really maybe stopped to think about, do I even care about these stupid goals? I won a prize. So what? Is this what I really care about? Is this what I want to give my life to? So this is going to be some soul searching for you if you're a 3. This is going to be a time for you to wake up and really stop and think about who you are and your identity and what really matters. And this is not going to be easy. Okay, this is going to be challenging for you. If you are a 3, this is going to be challenging. Or if you love somebody that's a 3, have some compassion and some grace on them. And don't just say, aha, I know what's going on. You're working to polish up your image, but you don't even know who you are. You don't even know your identity. Be compassionate, because this is very sensitive. 3s, this is very hard for you to get beneath that surface, to get beneath that curtain and see what's really lying beneath. This can be a really challenging discussion for you. So 3s, but it's important, because you don't want to get to the end of your life and have accomplished a big pile of stuff that you don't even care about. And that's really the problem for a 3. They can become over-focused, so focused on seeking recognition for all that they're accomplishing. They want to be the best at whatever they're doing. That's a lot of pressure. I mean, just stop right there for a second. That's a lot of pressure to be the best at whatever it is you're doing. If that's your goal right now, to be the best, whatever it is, whether it's your golf game or whether it's your your sales at the car lot where you work, or the if you're an athlete, in your racquetball game or whatever it is, or weightlifting, to be the best. How do you know? When will you determine that you're the best? And doesn't being the best involve beating everybody else? So your goal then is to beat everybody else. Can you see that if that's your goal, that there might be some competition there? There's going to be hurt feelings on the other side. And are you prepared? I mean, on the one hand, you want to be charming and be likable and be agreeable to people and be adaptable. But on the other hand, you want to beat everybody else and stand out away from the group as exceptional. Do you see that maybe sometimes that these two goals are in conflict with each other? That you can raise up tension in the places where you work, or with the people that you interact with? That this desire of both being liked and being exceptional, that these forces can work against themselves, and you may wonder why people turn against you. You may wonder why people have it in for you. When you're just trying to be your best, you're just trying to accomplish so much, you're just trying to be a good example, and you wonder why people then turn against you, because people don't want to be beaten. People don't want to lose competitions. And you've carried all of this, you put all this burden on your shoulder that it's not enough to compete. It's not enough to perform. It's not enough to do a good job. It's not enough to go home at the end of the night and say, I did my job. I got all the, paperwork done. I moved it from this side to that side, and I can feel, good that I accomplished what I needed to accomplish, and now I can rest. No, you can't, because you got to be the best. You're driven to accomplish more than anybody else and to be the example. That's a huge burden for you to bear, and you might want to think before you put that burden on yourself. Can I live? Can my family live? Will I have time for a family if I adopt such a heavy burden? So threes often are constantly comparing themselves with others. How are they doing? Where are they at in the race? You're sort of looking behind you to see, is anybody catching up to me? And do I need to put in more effort? Do I need to put in more? Because I got to be exceptional, and I've got to set myself apart from the group. So I got to know where the group is. Very image conscious, how they're perceived by others. They are focused on portraying a admirable image. Now, where twos get themselves into trouble, they focus on what do you need, and if I take care of your needs, then I'll draw you in, and then I'll feel loved by you because you'll want to be around me because I'm here for you. Threes work up all that same energy, but they don't externalize it like a two does. A two will externalize it and say, I'm here to take care of you, and that draws us in because we want to be taken care of. We want to be paid attention to and flattered and made to feel important. Threes, what they do is they focus all that energy on themselves, on making their image more admirable. So they're polishing up the externals. They're polishing up the exterior to make themselves more desirable and more attractive, not just physically attractive, but a more winsome person, a more accomplished person. And so kind of the thinking that lies beneath their surface is if they polish up their surface, you'll be drawn to them and you will want to be around them. Now, they'll make themselves more desirable, gaining your admiration, your attention, and your love. But here's the thing. Admiration from others is not the same thing as being loved by others. I just stop and think about that for a minute. Am I really just wanting the admiration of others? Or do I really want to love and be loved by others? It's not the same thing. And sometimes I think in threes' minds, it becomes the same thing. Like they become content with just being, like a two becomes content with being needed by others. A three becomes content with being admired by others. But being admired by others, do you want your kids to just admire you, or do you want them to love you? How can they love you if they don't know you, and they don't know you because you may not know yourself? All you know is the external image that you're presenting. Life is a continual presentation of yourself, but nobody really knows you. Because you don't really know you, because you don't know what your goals in life are and what your priorities are. You just know that in order to win, you've got to accomplish this, whatever it is to win. But you may not know what you really want in life. And so you may not be present. And this is how threes fail to be present in life, is you're not really showing up. An image of you is showing up, an image that is more desirable, more likable, more winsome, more attractive, more accomplished. That's what's showing up. But nobody really knows you. So life is like a continual job interview for a three. They're always putting their best foot forward. They're always polishing up their resume. And this is why the sin of a three, I don't know if I said 4 right there, I meant 3. The sin of a 3 is deceit. Now, what does that mean? Well, not only may 3s sometimes leave out details of their mistakes and failures because it doesn't promote their image, but 3s actually start to begin to believe that their image that they are presenting is actually themselves. In other words, I'm so successful at work, I'm so successful, in my appearance, or so successful in my accomplishments, that I am then successful. But you may be a miserable failure at life, but this one area of your life that you've focused on, work, or this one area of your life you focused on your beauty, or this area you focused on, as an athlete, you start to believe your own press that the clothes really do make the man. But it's just clothes. That's not you. But see, 3s, like 2s and 4s, are in that shame quadrant of the Enneagram. Now, in the Garden of Eden, there's no shame. It says man and woman walked around naked and felt no shame. But now we live in a world with shame. Anger in the top, shame on this side, and fear on 5, 6s, and 7s. But shame for a 3 is something they're running away from. It's something you are running away from. You may never have thought about it like that before, because 3s, they're always thinking about what they're running toward. They're running toward a goal. They're running toward accomplishment. They're running toward success, toward a 6-figure income, toward a beautiful appearance. They're running toward, whatever is going to make them prestigious and outstanding. But stop and think for a second. You're not just running toward something, you're running away from something. Okay, and what is it that 2s, 3s, and 4s are running away from? Shame. In other words, a 2 starts to think, maybe I'm not valuable. Maybe I'm not worthy. Maybe I'm not intrinsically worthy of being loved. Well, if I serve a role of meeting everybody's needs and giving so much care and attention to everybody, then surely I'm loved. Surely I'm needed. Surely I'm important now. But it's that sense of shame that drives them toward that service. Okay, so think about a 4, for example, the individualist. Next video that I do will be about a 4. The 4 says, well, shame is something that everybody experiences, and I'm not like everybody. I'm different than everybody else. So maybe I don't need to be ashamed because I'm different. And so I'm exceptional in that I'm unique. And I don't fit in with everybody else. I'm not like everybody else. And so I don't have the same shame that everybody else has. Okay, so that's the shenanigan there of the 4. Well, here's the shenanigan of the 3. And by shenanigan, I mean this is the crazy stuff we start to believe about ourselves. The 3 says, since I've accomplished so much, since I have so many citations and awards and diplomas and prestigious offices and such a beautiful appearance and won so many trophies, well, then I don't have anything to be ashamed of because I've accomplished so much. So I don't need to be ashamed. I'm valuable. I'm worthy of your respect. I'm worthy of your admiration. I'm worthy of your attention because look at all that I have accomplished. Yet you never really think, did I really want all these accomplishments? Do I even care about these accomplishments? And why just in this area of my life? I mean, in other words, why did I accomplish all of this in terms of being an athlete, But what did I do as a parent? Was I an exceptional parent? Was I or maybe I accomplished so much at work. Look at all this I accomplished at work. Look at all this. I moved up through the ladder. Yeah, because you were driven, because you're running away from your sense of self-worthlessness. So what you look at as a strength, I'm so driven, I'm so focused, I'm so accomplished, I have such a hunger to accomplish so much, is actually, according to the Enneagram and according to the Bible, is actually your desire to do nothing more than Adam and Eve did when they covered themselves with fig leaves. It's your fig leaves. You don't need to be ashamed, because look at all you've accomplished. Look how admirable you are. Yet the reality is you're broken just like everybody else. Your inner core is wounded and broken just like everybody else's. No matter how good you look on the outside. No matter how polished you are on the outside. So, there's an old saying, threes, if I'm not cheating, then I don't really care. And so I don't know if that's appropriate or true of a three. You'll have to judge your own experience. But, threes, as long as I'm winning, everything is okay. That's kind of the idea of the way threes think, The one, as long as I'm doing what's right, everything is okay. I do my best. And of course, the one never feels like they got it right. But a three, says as long as I'm winning, everything is okay. And if I'm not cheating, then I must not care about it, because a three, remember the sin is deceit. And so you may feel that compulsion in you, or that impulse to deceive in order to advance, in order to get ahead. So threes, if they're not careful, can lose touch with their own heart. And that successful veneer just covers a shell is just a shell that covers their emptiness. And if you're a three right now, this is probably stinging a little bit. This is probably, scratching a little bit, because we're getting beneath the surface. This stuff maybe you've never thought about before. You just knew you were driven to succeed. You just knew you were driven to win. You just knew you were driven to make an accomplishment, but maybe never thought about where this drivenness is coming from. Essentially you're asking yourself, what makes me worthy of love? And you're answering that question by trying to accomplish a lot. But, does that really work when you think about other people? Is that why you love, let's say, is that why you love your own mother? Because of all that she accomplished at work? Or because she was a successful athlete? Or because she could bench press 250? Is that why you loved your grandmother? Because of what she accomplished in her life? Because she was the head secretary at IBM? Is that why you loved your grandmother? No. I would dare say that you never have loved anybody because of what they've accomplished. And yet look how driven you are to accomplish so much that really doesn't, at the end of the day, matter. Not in terms of relationships with people, not in terms of being genuine, being real and authentic with yourself. That's something you could learn from the four on the Enneagram right next to you. You could lean a little on that wing, that four wing, and say, maybe I need to be real. What would real look like for me? What are my real motives? What do I really care about? And if you leaned a little bit on that too and said, it's not just about me, but I should be here to help other people. I should use whatever I've learned and whatever promotions I've got to be of use to serving other people. All right, so it's kind of like threes, we're perpetually holding up that sign. Mommy, Daddy, look at me. Mommy, Daddy, look at me. Look at what, they kind of never got out of that, whatever that is, that middle school age, where look at me, I'm going to dive off the diving board, Mommy. Look at me. Look at me, I'm riding my bike, Daddy. Look at me. And it's kind of like they're going through life holding a sign. Look at me. And what they're really asking for is, am I valuable? Do I matter? Does anybody love me? Does anybody notice me? Does anybody care about me? And I'm telling you, if you've never thought about this, this is powerful, powerful stuff that is life-changing for you if you'll embrace this. It will change your life, because you'll get centered again and you'll start to say, what do I care about? What am I on earth to accomplish? Not what could I accomplish, Because we all know you could accomplish the world. But what do you want to accomplish? What are you called to accomplish? And what is important to you? In other words, don't get to the top of the wall without ever asking yourself, do I even care about any of this? Find out what it is you care about. And then be a healthy 3 and use that drivenness and that passion to accomplish something that matters, something that's valuable, something that is essentially you. All right. So not only are 3s holding up a sign that says, look at me, do I matter? But in another way, you might say the one thing that a 3 will not ever be is a nobody. I won't be a nobody. That is like the big fear. So maybe they'll buy a big house they can't afford in a prestigious neighborhood, or an exotic car that stands out away from the group. Go for a glamorous career, something important or significant, and rather than going into being a doctor because they care about people, I'm going to be a doctor because it pays so well and I stand out and it's a prestigious career. I get to wear, a white coat and have a beautiful car. But that, at the end of the day, think about that. Do you want your doctor, who is in charge of helping you overcome cancer, do you want that doctor to be the reason he's a doctor or she's a doctor is because they want to stand out and be successful? No. You want a doctor that cares about you, cares about people, cares about healing, cares about making people healthy. And there's nothing wrong with being driven and having these goals and all that, but check those and say, is that what's driving me into medicine? Because that's not a reason to be drawn into medicine, to stand out and be successful yourself. Or politicians, think about that. Do you want a mayor whose primary objective in life is to better himself, better her career? So they've got this position of public service so they can stand out and be admired. Is that the qualification for being a good? No, you want somebody that's going to be a mayor who cares about the city that they are in charge of. That's what you want in a mayor. You want a politician that cares about the community they're serving. Not that they stand out, that they get advanced in their career. Okay. So many top-notch athletes are 3s because they're concerned about setting records and being the best and how everybody else is doing and beating that. 3s want to be successful, but maybe for different reasons than some of the other types on the Enneagram. 7s want to be successful and make a lot of money because of all the freedom it brings. Boy, if I could, have $1 million, well, think of all the fun adventures I could go on. That'd be thrilling. I could go to Mount Rushmore on Tuesday and the Grand Canyon on Wednesday and Pikes Peak on Thursday. And we could just adventure, all the fun. We could ride jet skis, we could buy horses, we could go hang gliding, we could tour Europe. That's what 7s think about wealth. It's like a ticket to whatever experiences that are going to bring, that sense of wholeness. But 8s, they may seek success and wealth because then I won't have to depend on anybody. See? Then everybody can stay out of my business and I won't need anybody. I won't have to work for the man. I won't have to, answer to anybody, and I can just do what I want. But 3s are driven towards success and financial independence and all those things because it's a trophy. Because they don't want to disappear into a chasm of emptiness. Who am I if I'm not successful? You see, then that cloud of shame will catch up to me and I'll have to own it and say, maybe I'm not a perfect person. Maybe I've got failures. And so that drivenness that a 3 feels towards success it's like a pin that they can wear and say, I don't need anything. I don't need to be ashamed of anything. Look at me. Look at all I've accomplished. You should admire me. Without measurable signs of success and increased attention from others and feelings of accomplishment, they're afraid that you're afraid, if you're a 3, that you're going to be a nobody. Well, who will I be then? See? In other words, you don't know who you are. You don't know your core. So you want to be perceived as somebody important, somebody influential, somebody that makes a lot of money, somebody that's successful. The basic fear of a 3 is being worthless. Just let that sink in for a minute. What is it that's driving all this madness? Is I'm afraid I'm worthless. Well, are you worthless? No. You were created by a designer, and you have inherent value and worth just because you exist. Everything you accomplish doesn't make you valuable, doesn't make you worthwhile. You are already valuable and worthwhile. Think about it like this. When you were a baby, if you have a baby, what did that baby ever accomplish? And yet all of your love as a parent immediately just falls on that baby. Just because they exist. Just because they are. They haven't accomplished anything. They haven't set themselves apart in any way except that they have a stinky diaper and that they cry. And yet you love and are attracted and drawn to that little baby. Their innocence, their purity. All right, so the basic fears of being worthless is that I'm without value apart from all my accomplishments. So that drives you to accomplish. The basic desire of a 3 is to feel worthwhile, is to feel acceptable, is to feel desirable. The basic message that you tell yourself as a 3 is I am good or I am okay as long as I am successful and everybody likes me and everybody thinks well of me and everybody admires me. Some famous 3s in our culture are Tony Robbins, the motivational speaker, Tom Cruise, Christopher Reeves, Tiger Woods, Vanessa Williams, Michael Jordan, Cindy Crawford, Burt Reynolds, Rob Lowe. You can see all these people. I mean, they're all attractive. They're all, winsome personalities. Raquel Welch, William Shatner. I think Mr. Drysdale off the Beverly Hillbillies is a good example of the deceitfulness of a 3, willing to do whatever it takes, say whatever needs to be said in order to be a success as a banker. Draco Malfoy on Harry Potter. Gaston on Beauty and the Beast. The 3-wing 2 is known as the charmer. They're outgoing and friendly and helpful. They want to be loved and close to people. They dazzle people with their winsomeness. The 3-4 is the professional. Their success comes, or their value comes from their sense of success and what they're doing in their work. They may look like a type 1 in that they have a strong work ethic, but it may not be because they're doing it, because we got to get these tasks done. I got to be a good person, but they're doing their work in an impressive way to be valuable. And as a sense of value, of gaining their value. 3s fear failure and humiliation. I'm a 7 and I'm an assertive type 2. One of the differences between 3s and 7s is 7s want to raise the energy. We're running away from fear, and so we want to raise the energy, raise the mood, and we're willing to let ourselves look stupid. People like Robin Williams, like Jim Carrey, think of those as 3s. Jimmy Fallon, they're willing to make themselves look foolish in order to accomplish that goal. Then everything's okay. I don't have anything to be afraid of because look, we're all laughing. Okay, that's kind of the idea 7s are living by. 3s have a much harder time looking foolish. At the end of the day, you don't want to look foolish as a 3. And so that can be a distinction between 3s and 7s, is both may be highly energetic, but 3s have a hard time letting themselves look foolish. Let's see what else we want to say. 3s want to project a winning image, say the right thing, be likable. Here's the thing though, in private, they may be a completely different person. In other words, their house may be a beautiful home on the outside. People drive by it, it's impressive. Everything's manicured, looks great. Walk in, there's very impressive, big, oversized pictures, oversized furniture. Everything's big, beautiful, right? But then their bedroom's a mess. Or their closet is a mess. Or their personal bathroom is a mess. Oh, now, wait a minute now. Hold on here, see? What's the problem? Why is it so externally attractive, but internally, look, it's a metaphor for what's going on in your life. And on the outside, everything looks very put together and very presentable. But what's going on the inside of your life? See, that's the part of your life maybe you're not in touch with, is that core that identity of who are you and what are you and what do you care about and where's your sense of value and self-worth come. So you may have this beautiful home you live on the exterior, but your bedroom's a mess. You don't make your own bed. But well, and see, here's the thing. Nobody sees that. So why does it matter? Nobody sees it. But see, that's just the point. Is if everything in your life is done for what people see, who are you as a person? And so maybe some time and attention needs to be given to the interior of your life, which is what you're doing right now by watching this video. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Okay, so your locker, your desk may look a mess because it's your space. And see, you got this in your mind that, well, these other spaces are what people see about me, and that's what really matters, the image. So you spend your life polishing up an image, but never giving a moment to really think about the core. There's something wrong with that. Okay. Focused on the persona, the character, the character you play, the role you play, rather than real soul development. You're afraid people will see your deficits. So you give yourself pep talks. You pep yourself up. Keep a positive image in the forefront at all times. You want to manage everybody's impression of you. You're looking for a winning formula. Do whatever it takes. You set goals. The problem is people don't know who you are apart from the image that you project to others. In becoming the office hero or the diligent employee or the superstar, here's the thing. Your heart is pushed aside and forgotten. And that's how 3s essentially get lost. So you focus on becoming the outstanding athlete or the accomplished job performer or the money maker or the giver to charity. And so this is what's all over your Facebook. It's all over your social media. Is look at me, look what I'm doing, look what I've accomplished, look at what I've finished, look at this, I won, look at this trophy, look at this poor person that I helped. It's all public image. It's all PR. I'm a high-performing parent, and so you're always projecting this image. You're always careful about how you're coming across to people. You're the ideal person in this category of life. But when you look inward, what do you feel? Emptiness. There's a black hole there, and you know it. There's a black hole there when you look inward. And so in a sense, you're like always wearing, a toupee, a rug on the top of your head. Hey, look, I got hair. Look, I got hair. Look at this. But is it real? Is this really what you care about? Is this really what you're passionate about? When you look inward, you may sense a certain emptiness. So 3s often keep people at a safe distance. They kind of keep people at arm's length away from them. Because if they ever got to know me, if they ever knew my closet was a wreck, if they ever knew how I really talk and what I really think and how I really behave. See, so you keep people at a distance, you keep people at an arm's length, because if they ever got in beneath that surface and found out who you really are, well, then they might reject me. And being rejected is the thing that 3s can't handle. Because if I'm rejected, then I'm not a person of value and I'm not a person of worth. And that's all your life is trying to accomplish is I'm a person of value, I'm a person of worth, look at everything that I've accomplished. So it's self-protective behavior. But true intimacy with people is what? Is being real with people, being genuine with people, letting them know what you think, letting them know how you feel, and then sharing. And then at least if they reject you, at least they knew you. Real intimacy can't happen if people don't know who you are. Here's the thing though, as a 3, you may not care because you may actually want the image of a successful relationship more than you care about the substance of a real relationship. In other words, I would rather project that my wife and I are some, magic couple. Oh, everybody thinks, wow, he just loves his wife so much. They're just such a wonderful couple. They're just an outstanding role model to everybody. And so it may be more important to you to project this image of a loving couple than actually having the substance of being a real loving couple. You don't want to necessarily put the time and the investment and the energy in to really care about this person and to really love this person and to really know this person, because that's not what's really important to you at the end of the day. It's projecting an image that we're a loving couple. Hello? And so you may not even care about what your company makes. You may not even use the product or care about it at all. What you're interested in is becoming, the top level manager at Toyota, and you go home and you drive a Honda. Because you don't even care about the product itself. The substance doesn't matter to you. It's the perceived image. Okay. Woo! So what are feelings like to a 3? When they start to feel this emptiness, they start to feel this. Feelings for 3s are like speed bumps. You get over them. They slow you down, so don't feel stuff. But feelings, go to your 4 wing. Feelings are important to serve as indications as to what's going on inside you and what you care about and your identity. So maybe you could lean a little bit on that 4 wing and say, maybe feelings, because 4s are consumed with their feelings to the point that it can become unhealthy. So feelings maybe are more than just things that slow you down. Maybe you should stop and look out over a horizon for a moment. Go stand at the beach, or go stand at the mountains, or go stand in the forest, or lay down, look up at the clouds and say, what do I feel? That'd be a helpful experience, just to get some solitude and some silence and some stillness. It's what the old, religious people used to call contemplative. I need to contemplate my life for a moment and think about what's really important to me and say, why am I here on earth? What am I here to accomplish? What am I passionate about? What's the Lord put in my heart? And who are these people that are around me, and do I know them, and do they really know me? See, this is contemplative stuff, but this is just speed bumps for you, because you're going somewhere. You're getting something done, and I don't have time to sit and wonder, how I feel about things. When assertive 3s get unhealthy, they become like withdrawn 9s. In other words, when you feel like you can't win, you feel like you can't get ahead, and you feel like the cards are stacked against you, and you start to slow down, and maybe you even stop, and you just hibernate. You just go dormant. You just die on the outside. You just say, what's the point? What do I even care? I don't even care. And 3s who were driven to success, when they get overwhelmed or insecure or frustrated with life, you may just see them stop and shut down, and maybe even abuse painkillers or substances, become increasingly passive and uninterested in their work, and they just start going through the motions, and in a way kind of resemble 9s who just go through routines without ever really being awake to life. You may just kind of go to sleep to life and just have a lack of interest in anything or anyone else, and even have a lack of interest in the image that you're projecting. When assertive 3s are healthy, look at this. They move over to a compliant 6. What do 6 care about? 6s care about what's everybody else doing? How's everybody else doing it? They don't want to stand out. 6s don't want to stand out. They want to fit in. They want to blend in. They want to be a part of the group. They want to find their safety in being a part of the team. 6s want to be friendly so that everybody will, be for them and not against them. 6s want to follow the rules so that they won't be in trouble. 6s, will stand up to whatever they're afraid of because they don't want to live in fear. When 3s become healthy and secure, watch this. They stop caring about just themselves, and they start caring about the group, and they want everybody to succeed. And they're saying, how can we move everybody forward? Not just me, and not just how do I stand out, but how can we make the group That's you up at the top of the mountain when you say, you know, it's not just about me accomplishing stuff. It's not just about me standing out. It's not just about me getting an award. It's about what am I doing for my family? How am I making my family better? How am I making my church better? How am I making my community better? How am I making this organization better? What am I doing for Mary? What am I doing for Rob? What am I doing for Steve? What am I doing for Jack? It's not just, are these people, am I able to step on them to get ahead? But can I move others with me? That's when you know threes are getting healthy, is when they start caring about the group. Awesome stuff. As threes, children, this is the message that resonated with you as a three when you were a child. The message that resonated with you as a three was you are only loved or valued for what you can accomplish. You're only loved and valued for what you can accomplish and for how charming you are. That's it. That's the message that you walked away with from childhood. Now, I don't know whether people intended to communicate that to you or not, but that's kind of what you heard. As a child, what you needed to hear, well, listen to this, because you may still need to hear this today. This is the message you needed to hear. You are wonderful just the way you are. You can stop. You can stop all the running. You can stop all the accomplishing. You can stop all the achieving. You can stop all the makeup and all the surgeries and all the enhancements. You are wonderful just the way you are. Now, here's the thing. I said that and you heard it, but you probably still don't believe it. You're probably having a hard time believing. Now, here's the thing. Think about that baby that you were holding. Were they wonderful just the way they were? Or were you only going to love them if they accomplished something? Okay, think about that toddler in your life. Your nephew, your niece, or your child. What do they need to accomplish in order for them to be wonderful? Nothing. Because you know they're wonderful just the way they are, whether they accomplish anything or not. Just because they exist, just because of who they are, just because they walk in relationship with you. You want to pick them up and hold them and cherish them, whether they've accomplished anything or not. Even when they've been ugly, even when they've been nasty, even when they've been frustrated and tired and upset and cranky. You don't all of a sudden say, well, now you're not a person of value and now I don't care for you anymore. No, you know they're tired and they're going to get over it, or they're going through a phase and they'll get out of that. There's never a question of value, but this is a hard thing for you to realize about yourself, because you're in the shame category. Is you are worthwhile and valuable just the way you are right now. And I wish you could embrace this, because it's the truth. It's the truth of the universe, okay? That you are a person of value right now, just because you exist. You're not an accident. You're not here by random chance. You're here designed and created exactly as you are. Broken, yes. We don't live in the Garden of Eden. You're broken. You're fallen, yes. Marred, stained, yes. But valuable and worthy and worthwhile. Here's what you needed to hear as a child. You're pleasing to me, just the way you are. You're welcomed into this world. Welcomed into this world. Let's see what else we want to say. It's powerful stuff. A key word for threes is adaptability. I talked about this a little bit at the beginning, but threes are good about changing to fit. And that's one of the reasons we like them so much, is because they will adapt themselves, or at least appear to adapt themselves, to fit in with whatever group they're in and to be who they need to be in order to succeed, in order to be charming, in order to be liked. Okay? But that comes with a dark side too, as you can imagine, because if you can adapt that easily into whatever situation you're in, then what do you really value? That's something to think about. How can you adapt into other groups so easily, and if you have a strong central core as to who you are. In other words, think about the 1, for example. There's some things they won't do. All right, they've made some decisions. They're like, I think about that song by Aaron Tippin, I Got It Honest. I got these sturdy values handed down from my mama and my daddy, and I can sleep at night, and there's things I won't do. Well, you could benefit from that as a 3 is, okay, what are some things I won't do? What are some things that I'll never do in this pursuit of getting ahead? And create some convictions, you might say, or some boundaries that you won't cross. The fundamental problem of a 3 is you're detached from your own identity. The fundamental problem is you're attached from your source of value changes depending on your performance and the audience to which you're speaking to. The audience of the moment. So busy trying to achieve the prize that you never stop to ask, do I even care about this prize? Or is this prize important? It's always about getting ahead. It's always about accomplishing something more. Being successful at work is not the same thing as being successful. Think about that for a minute. Okay? How do you define success? Not how does the culture define it. Not how do the self-help books define it. Not how does your boss define it. But you, what do you want in life? See, this is hard stuff, isn't it? Hard for you. It's not hard for a 4. This is the way the 4 thinks. This is why the 4 will go work for the Peace Corps, because they want to do something of value, valuable to the world, to themselves. They want to be authentic to themselves. But the 3, this is hard for you, because you may not know what you care about. You may not know what's of value to you. Okay, you need to connect deeply with your own heart. Be present to yourself and present to others. If you don't ever know your own heart, you'll remain untouched by life. And without knowing your heart, you will be disconnected from others. It'll only lead to loneliness, empty victories, and emotional disconnection. This is the CEO, that's cheating on his wife and drinking himself to sleep at night. He's accomplished so much. He's in charge of so much, but his own life is a wreck because he was never really present to life. It's all external. It's all, done for image. The road you're on, if it's not changed, is going to lead to loneliness. Is going to lead to empty victories and emotional disconnection. So you got to let other people into your life. Healing begins for you when you can start to say, maybe I don't have to be the best. Man, I tell you what, as a 7, that's something I just inherently understand. You don't have to be the best. You just do your best and then walk away from it and leave it. You don't have to be the best. Just do your best. That's a huge shift. Maybe others' opinions of me aren't so important. If you can learn to say, well, maybe other people, they'll have their opinions and that's fine, whatever. Not everybody's going to like me, that's fine. I got my dog, got my wife, my kids, my dog. I go home at the end of the night, and if those people love me, I'm fine. That would be very helpful for you. Steps toward wholeness and healing. Number 1, here's 10 of them, okay? Steps toward wholeness and healing. Number 1, remember that it is essential to be truthful and honest with yourself and others about your feelings and your needs. Recognize that sometimes you may begin to turn on the charm for others. Just recognize that you're doing it. And then choose whether you really want to do that or not. You will impress people more deeply if you're real with them. Okay? It's difficult to be real with people, to be authentic with people. Rather than bragging about your successes and your accomplishments, sweeping your shame under the carpet, with how successful you are and what you've accomplished, that doesn't necessarily always draw people to you. Sometimes it repels people from you and can cause competitive spirit among other people with you. You don't have to always just improve, your external, but be authentic and real with people. That is a great accomplishment. You want to accomplish something great? Be real with people. Start there. Share your needs, your feelings, your wants. But you got to know what those are. And to know what those are, you may have to spend some time in contemplation. Okay, number 2. Learn to cooperate in your relationships. Not every relationship is competition. They're cooperative. Okay? So pause from your busy day to really connect with yourself and others. There's nothing spectacular, and you won't get a prize, to just sit down with somebody and visit with them and just get to know them and just laugh with them. But that's what life is all about. It's all about relationships and getting to know people and sharing and caring about people. Now, you won't get a prize for it. You won't get any kind of certificate for it. You won't get an award or a medal or recognized. Nobody will wipe away your shame. If you take 10 minutes and sit down in your neighbor's cubicle or your neighbor's office and just talk about the weekend, there's no advantage to be gained by that except you're being real with people, which is what life is really all about. So take the focus off of how you're coming across. Don't just continually think about, what does this person think about me? How are they perceiving me? Take the focus off yourself. Don't feel the need to impress everybody. Focus your attention on them. Lean on your two-wing there for a minute and focus your attention on them and what they need and hearing their story and being there for them. Without, will this make them like me more? Just enjoy the interaction. Focus on connecting with others, not with how am I coming across. Okay. Number 3, learn to take some breaks. Okay. If you're driven, you're going to accomplish all this stuff, you're going to need a rest. Okay. Don't take work home with you. Something you could learn from the 9. When you're healthy, you go to the 9. The 9 knows it's time to rest. When you go home, put aside all this drivenness. If you can embrace the fact that you're a person of value and worthwhile no matter what you accomplish, then you can go home and say, I don't need to accomplish everything tonight. I could just enjoy dinner with my family. I could just go putt-putt golf with my kids. And I can just enjoy it. I don't have to run and chase success all the time. Maybe be a success at home. Okay. Or have a hobby and just let your mind relax for a while. Number 4, cooperate with others. Which I kind of said already in the second one. But see your service as being a contribution to the team. There we go. Not just, I got to be the head of the team. Just be on a team. There you go. Just try to be on a team. Try not to get to the top of that team. Just find some team that you can be a part of and just be on the team. A team member rather than the team driver, okay? Number 5, be careful about adapting to the expectations of everybody else so much that you lose a sense of what you really care about. Maybe you're still trying to impress mom or dad. They weren't attentive to you, and so you're still trying to impress them. Come on. What do you care about? Number 6, support and encourage others. So instead of looking for their attention and their admiration, start applauding them. Find what everybody else is doing and start applauding what they're doing. And give your admiration to others. You want admiration from others. Give admiration to others. Do the opposite of what you're impulsed to do. You will become an even more desirable friend. Think about this. You will become a much more desirable friend when you give attention and admiration to other people, rather than always expecting it from them. If you really want to be admired by people, then admire them. Interesting. Learn that from the 2. 7, use your energy and your sense of humor and your ability to organize and create excitement to help others instead of yourself all the time. Number 8, unrealistic expectation of yourself can lead toward depression because you never measure up to that, what you could have accomplished. When you fail to reach that desired level of success, you can become enraged. Just realize that your expectations might be a little too much. You're valuable whether you can accomplish everything you set out to. Number 9, admit to yourself when you're in over your head, when you've reached your limit. Number 10, don't be distracted by comparing yourself all the time. Learn to accept yourself and don't worry about everybody else's opinion of you. And learn to be in solitude sometimes. Well, this has been a great study. I tell you what, there's a lot of 3s in my life that I enjoy being around that are healthy. Be healthy. Be present to life. Be there for the people in your life. Show up fully yourself. Don't worry about always how you're coming across. Just open up and be real with people. Let people get to know you. Let people care about you as you care about them. Be present and be a blessing to others. And use the time that you have left to do what's most important in life. Don't always be focused on how you're coming across and how you're being presented and how you're being perceived. Focus rather on meeting needs in people's lives and being present to them and being an encouragement to them. All right, guys. Blessings in your life, and as always, I love sharing my life with yours, and I hope that you will pass this on with others and that you'll be different as a result of it. Until I see you next time, take care.